what you might see in this week's episode is very emotional for me, so it's taken a number of takes, and I'm sorry that I may have missed something, but it really is close to my heart that the issues that we've learned about this week just cut really, really deeply. I may or may not include the footage that I've captured already, because I'm an emotional wreck about it. Because it hurts. I feel personally attacked. We should be doing everything that we can to help our kids become who they are meant to be. The issues that we've had this week have meant that because of someone's religion, a community's religion, they have denied their kids that education. In Birmingham, a group of parents withdrew their kids from LGBT plus education on the grounds of religion. That is not okay, it is unacceptable, and that's why we must call them out. I'm emotional because, and I'm going to get emotional again throughout this, because if I had one gay icon when I was growing up, if I had in my education been told that my sexuality was okay, if I had the support of people around me thinking that my sexuality, my identity, was no reason to be picked on, to be bullied, to be hurt, that is a good thing. I have had it easy. I'm aware of how privileged I am. I was bullied, but it was not physical. I was questioning and trying to work out who I was, and there was a lot of painful soul searching through that. And the irony is that religion, someone's faith, and their sexual identity, whether they are heteronormative or whether they identify anywhere on the LGBT plus spectrum, is that those two things are so intrinsically linked. I don't care what a book says. I don't care whether the scripture says that you think it's right or you think it's wrong. That doesn't matter. What matters is the kids that are going through hell because of the religion. This is my issue with religion, and it's not an issue with faith. My issue with religion is that we are telling our kids that they cannot be who they are, for fear that they won't be rewarded by a supreme entity that no one has any faith, any substantial evidence of whether he or they exist or not. And at the same time, we are denying our kids the ability to understand. And it's not conversion. It's not going to turn around and make people gay. People aren't suddenly going to walk out of a classroom and say, oh, well, I was straight when I walked into that class, but now I've had this education, I'm suddenly queer. Education is not about conversion. Education is not about indoctrinating people into a certain worldview. It's about giving our kids the tools that they need to understand the world and understand who they are, whether that's on a faith level or on a sexuality level. I was having a conversation with someone at work who thought that the whole issue was that kids were having a sexual education lesson from the age of 4. That's not what's happening here. What they're being taught about is the fact that when they grow up and they go out into the world, they will see people who may not conform to a heteronormative lifestyle. That they can see two men walking down the street holding hands, and that's okay. They can see a couple of lesbians doing the same thing, or a trans couple celebrating and living life to the full. But instead, they're being suppressed. Mental health affects people in the LGBT plus community much more than it does in heteronormative society. The reason being is because we haven't had this education. for most of us all our lives, and I admit that I am privileged to come through life at the stage that I did. But we've been denied our validity. I just can't stop thinking about if I was at school and I had the opportunity to learn about LGBT plus communities, how different my life would be. How much more inclusive the school would be. How that whole community around that town. There's a much more sad story to tell. And I don't know whether it's the right place to do it here. But after a long time of not seeing someone who is very close to me, I found out just the struggles that they went through. Yes, these issues affect every person, but statistically, the LGBT community is in crisis. Even last year, I had to make difficult phone calls. I had to reach out for my own mental health. Because I don't feel like I'll ever be good enough. Because I wasn't taught that someone like me could. To this day, I struggle. I'm never gonna get better. That's why this is so vital. That's why I'm talking to you, fighting my fears. In the campaign video for Pride in London last year, and then on the side of Piccadilly Circus, there was a phrase: "We've come a long way, but there's still a long way to go." And I think that's it. I have no more to say. I'm really sorry that video... No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry that video's made me emotional. This is why it's important. If you have a kid, if you have a nephew, a niece, make sure that they're getting taught what is right. Open their eyes to every experience possible so that they understand who they are. Because we could argue about the words in a book that was written over 2,000 years ago. Or we could just live or we could just live. Period.